Oh, look at that. We're live, which is good because it's time for This Week at Gear Report, where we talk about anything that's been published in the last week, as well as things that are upcoming to be published here on Gear Report. And we have a very esteemed, is that the word I should use? An esteemed panel with us this evening. So, Mitch, would you like to say hello?
Howdy, everybody. Welcome to the Gear Report, and it's good to be here. Hope everybody's having a good week so far. Welcome to Hump Day.
Oh, that's a good theme. Toby, welcome.
Good evening. Glad to be here. Gear Report another week.
All right. Excellent. So let's see. We'll give a minute or two for people to join us. In the meantime, I will... You know what? Let me do a little housekeeping here. And I want to mention something. On the Gear Report homepage, if you look over on the right-hand side, there's a little thing where you can purchase a Gear Report shirt. Buck was kind enough to do that, and apparently he's wearing it. So at some point, Buck, we'll have to have you on the show. You can show off your shirt that I suspect looks like the one that Toby and I are both wearing. Probably without the smell, though. Because you got a new one, not a seasoned one. All right. So anyhow, you can do that. And Buck got some extras because he is one of our patrons over on Patreon. So we appreciate you and hope you got that out of the care package. Howdy, Buck. Nice shirt. All right. Look at that. Humping Gear Report on Hump Day. All right. What do we have here? Oh, Jacob is with us again. Honcho Fett, Mining Ridge Armory, Jacob Perkins, the gun-loving grandpa. We got a pretty good crew going so far. Excellent. Thank you, everyone, for taking some time out of your evening to join us. Right back at you, Mr. Perkins. Hey to you, too. What should we talk about? Let's dive in to... recently completed reviews. There we go. What is that? Hold on, let me make him big. What was it? Nothing. He's muted himself, apparently.
Nothing. I was just saying that, NRA is putting out their little guides and everything that everybody needs to be aware of for the coming week.
Yeah, that's an interesting topic in itself because personally, there are a
audience
lot
isn't from North Carolina, though, right? So
there are a lot of things about the NRA that really kind of pissed me off. They've been very complicit in a lot of the legislation that has negatively impacted gun owners over the years. So, but at the same time, they probably do a reasonable job of helping us understand who the bad choices are, at least, right?
They do indeed. So this particular insert was in their last monthly magazine they put out, and they have a key. Where's the key at? Right. So there's a key right here on the back of it. It tells you whether they're A+, A, AQ, B, C, D, F, et cetera, or have no history. And they do break it down, and they send it for your state. So if you're a North Carolina subscriber to their monthly magazine, they send the center insert of this month's issue, and then they have a breakdown of every single district for the state, as well as the major elections for the entire country, and your particular representatives, and what their rating is from an NRA perspective. Now, again, that's just the initial step for the research you got to do, because that's just their stance pretty much on the Second Amendment, and maybe Fourth and Fifth Amendment, maybe. I don't know what their criterion is, but so you have to take that with a grain of salt and research some of the other stuff as well. But yeah, I mean, it's a nice little guide, and they do some things well still, even after all the controversy through the years and the degradation of the organization at large.
You said do
well. They do well. They
right,
do
right.
well. Yeah, right.
Okay, well, that was a nice diversion. Thank you. Let's look at what has been published since our last show. So we talked about the Easy Deflator last week, and I don't think so. This was on the 10th. I think that's going to be our first one here. I'm not sharing that screen yet, am I? I'm sitting here talking about it as if I'm sharing the screen, and no one can see it. So we're going to go here. There we go. Now we got it. And Kim and Jeremy let me know a few minutes ago that they are actually out in the outside somewhere working on the Jeep right now because they have a big trip this weekend, and they are likely not going to make the show at all. So typically they would talk about what they publish, but we're going to talk about it here. I'm going to call it Tsukamichi. I don't know if that's right or not. Tsukamichi foot pegs. You can see that something that you add to a Jeep Wrangler, and you can see that they like them. 4 out of 5 gears. I highly recommend that you go watch their video, which is embedded in the article. You can see they're easy to install, well built. Padded to protect the painted surface of the Jeep. I did not realize that. But anyhow, yeah, go check it out if you're into Jeep stuff. And foot pegs look like something that would be useful to you. Mitch, you've done Jeep stuff. Why would someone need foot pegs?
Whenever you have your Jeep and you take off your doors, lots of times, and again, it's more of an aesthetic. You can use them for, and again, I think the way these are set up, so when you're riding your Jeep, you can actually have your leg on the foot peg, kind of like a motorcycle foot peg. So you've got your leg sitting on the outside of the Jeep in some cases because your doors are off. But they are also foot pegs that allow you to step up to your Jeep. But I believe these are the ones that are kind of like outside the door.
Right.
Just another accessory for Jeeps. You can do pretty much anything aftermarket, and a lot of people do that when they're trail riding.
Gotcha. Okay. Oh, wow. And that's where they go. So it goes in the door hinge.
Yep.
Ah. I guess we're crackheads because it's totally wrong right now. You need to go watch the video. I'm not going to play the whole video and ruin it for you. But, they're rather entertaining. So go watch their video if you haven't watched it yet. All right. And with that, we're going to call that one done. And we'll go back and see the next one up. Actually, I have them sitting right here. The, I don't know how you say it, Bracky. I'm going to call it Bracky. These battery-powered socks. So it's pretty well documented that I am one of the biggest wusses you'll ever meet when it comes to being cold. I whine incessantly. I can't stand it. I hate every second of being cold. So I have been on a mission to find every bit of heated clothing I can and have brands send it to me so I can enjoy it and then tell people about it. And one of the more exciting ones for me, I get cold feet when I'm sitting in a deer stand or, pretty much that's the time that it's worse because I'm not moving at all. If I'm moving, keep the blood flowing, it's not that bad. But sitting still for a couple hours, I can't deal with it. So heated socks are a huge win for someone like me who gets cold easy and needs a couple hours of supplementary heat. I've tried the little heat packs that you put in the bottom of your shoe. And sometimes they work, sometimes not so much. These are pretty simple, charge them up, plug them in, turn them on, set the level of heat you're looking for, and they'll run for a couple hours, depending on what heat level you have. So I like these. I'll tell you what I'm less a fan of is that they do the 7.4 volt batteries. The batteries... they've got 16.28 watt hours. It says a 2200 milliamp hour 7.4 volt battery. So it's pretty impressive the amount of heat they pack into that little battery. But I'd really like if they worked on a 5 volt USB, power brick type thing, but they don't. I've got some other items some heated vests that work on that 5-volt, very common USB battery pack. And those are fantastic because everyone's got lots of those power packs, right? But those little 7.4 volts are proprietary, and they have a specific plug that has to be used. You can get around that. They're pretty awesome. So if that interests you, go check those out. You guys use any heated clothing?
Just the hot hands.
Just the hot hands? I used to have the hot whole body, but the years haven't been kind to me. I'm more of a dad bod than a hot bod now, so I need supplementary heat. Yep, you may not be wrong there, Snob. Hate to say it. Oh, where'd it go? That one. Being old sucks. Hey, it beats the alternative, right?
True enough.
Toby isn't a wuss. All right. I'm not sure what that was referring to, but I'm not going to argue with it.
Where I needed hot hands instead of electric socks.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Just hand warmers. Yeah. Hey, yeah. I'm pretty upfront about this. I have said I'm a wuss. I get it. I am okay with admitting it. I am who I am, right? I don't like to be cold. All right. So moving on. Get back to, we did the foot pegs. Oh, Toby, you're up.
Yeah. So Buck, drum roll for Buck here.
Oh, I don't do sound effects. Sorry.
Buck. Oh yeah. Wait. I don't know. Whatever. Drum roll for Buck. So Buck's been kind of giving me a hard time since about February or March about the DSP Armory Titan review. So this isn't it. However, I'm finally there, right? So I have, when we talk about the upcoming reviews here in the later segment of the show, I won't segue into it, but it's all related to the Titan, and the Titan was in and was featured in this particular review. So I finished up the Crimson Trace CTS 1400 review, and there's a video that's embedded as well, as you can go to our YouTube channel and see it. And I've finished 2 more reviews, which we'll talk about here in a minute when we get to that section of the video. But as you can see, I've got the article posted up. I also went a step further and kind of took and put a section in this one where I hyperlinked over to all the other articles as well as some of the older content, and kind of cross-reference them all to one another, so that if you're wanting to get a complete and total picture of the Crimson Trace products and complete and total like a backstory of how I went through all these different projects and how they had to interweave to get to where we were at the final product, why we even got the CTS 1400 to begin with, what criterion we put it through and stuff. I really kind of tried to write it up as much as I could, because I noticed that there's not a lot of, and I mean very, 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 very few reviews about the CTS 1400 out there on the interwebs. And so I wanted to get as comprehensive as I could. So the cut that it fits is actually, I won't give it away completely, but it's not that kind of red dot. It's not a pistol red dot. So I actually had to, and Jeff, I don't know if you noticed or not, I actually kind of correct you a little bit. So when you did the social media push on Facebook, you posted that Crimson Trace knocked it out of the park with this pistol red dot. It's not a pistol red dot, Snob. It's actually designed for rifle and shotgun. So it does have a pattern, but I didn't check to see. I mean, you can see from the base there that it does actually have a pattern, but I didn't check to see if and what it would fit as far as pistols go. I focused, that's why I put the challenge accepted meme at the top. I focused on the challenge of running it on rifles and shotguns, running it hard as opposed to just standard pistol. And again, it's overall size and field of view, and the rigidity of it, the design of it. It doesn't lend itself very well to pistols, so I didn't talk about it in relation to pistols at all. So I don't want to give away too much of the review. I mean, I could sit here and tell you everything in there. I could tell you the pros, the cons, the negatives, the goods, the bads, but then nobody will go read the article or watch the video. The video is only like 8, 9, 10 minutes. It's not one of my usual 30-minute Janik rants. It's,
You did say Janik in the video, though, right?
No, I didn't say Janik in this one. I didn't say Janik in this one. Sorry.
I told you that is a requirement. Every video you do, you have to figure out how to weave Janik into it.
Okay, well, maybe I'll have to reach out to Crimson Trace and see what else they can send me and run it on one of my Janik pistols or something.
There you go.
See what I can do.
Yep.
But yeah, so got that posted up finally. one of the products they sent us early in March. And for those of you who are alumni of Tactical Response, you'll notice several Easter eggs in this video. So I won't give away. Only those of you who have actually gone to any of Jaeger's courses will kind of understand some of the Easter eggs. So, yep.
Are there any Cadbury eggs?
Yeah, I ate those. That's why I look so fat in the video.
Oh.
And you can see them smeared on my mouth right there on the sides, you know.
All right. Well, thank you for that, dude. It took all the time you were talking for me to scroll through that video, or not video, the review. So when you said comprehensive, you meant comprehensive.
So yeah, a couple things. So I don't want to take up don't take up too much time here. I don't want to be selfish or whatever, but a couple things. Number one is I also went today over to Palmetto State Armory's website, and for the upper, where I review that on top of the PX9. For the upper, where I had purchased that, because I actually purchased it, I spent my own money. I know, don't fault me for it, Jeff. I know you that grates your nerves. But I actually also posted the video over there, so hopefully it'll post up on their page for that upper for the PX9. I guess after they approve it and let it go through or whatever. So hopefully it'll be there as well. But yeah, you bring up a good point as far as the amount of time I spent on this particular article. Out of respect to Crimson Trace, and out of respect to DSP Armory, I wanted to make sure that I gave them a really good fair shake, because they had sent me some pretty heavy products. I appreciate that, but definitely go watch it for sure. I appreciate all the support, obviously. They had given us some really good products, and they were really looking, DSP Armory really wanted us to get their name out there. Crimson Trace is really struggling to try to get some of the name of some of their optics out there. And like I said, there's not many reviews out there. So I tried to give it as much effort as I possibly could. And I was telling the guys on the podcast last night, just these 3 articles. Okay. Now this isn't other stuff, other ancillary stuff like the Wheeler kit or the, mounting the scopes or all those other videos and content I did earlier this year. Just these 3 written articles and just these 3 videos, just the editing now, just the writing the article, editing the video, uploading it to YouTube, doing all that magickery. I've got about 30 hours of labor in that. That doesn't count the 19 hours round trip driving out to Tactical Response, the countless hours of actually testing product, the hundreds and hundreds of dollars worth of ammunition, the purchasing of a firearm to be able to facilitate some of the testing and design for projects I've got going on, blah, 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 computers, electricity, software, da, 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 da. So I really tried to sink my teeth into the 2 Crimson Trace reviews and the DSP Armory review, and give them some love. So.
Very cool. All right, so that officially wraps up the things that have been published. I can give you know what? I'm going to give a peek behind the curtain. Let's do that. Let me go back to this tab. We're going to go to the post tab. This is behind the scenes in WordPress. All right, is everyone seeing that? Yes.
It is super painful. That said, though, Jeff, I do have to ask a question. So I noticed that the article and the way that I laid it out, because I always struggle with the graphics, man, it looks amazing on a cell phone. When you read the reviews from WordPress on a cell phone, the pictures being aligned in the left and the sizes and stuff looks like way better than it does on a website. It's weird. Anyways.
Okay. So things we have coming. The Mantis X10 Elite Shooting Performance System review. TJ's been working on that for a while. That's still in draft form. I don't know if TJ's going to make it before the show's over. He just sent me a text and said he was finally done with work and headed home. I think we're going to be done before he gets there. We'll see. Maybe he'll join us. But he's been promising us this Mantis X10 Elite for a while. I think he's getting closer. I think he just had a few pictures to take. Let's see. We saw the CTS 14. That was published. I've got a backpack stove review that'll publish soon. And so the other ones that Toby, he said they're done. They are. I just have been trying to space them out a little because there's so much product overlap in them. I don't want to drop them one after the other. So probably in the next day or two, we'll see the it was the Titan and then the other Crimson Trace was the order you wanted, right?
Other way around, I think. I believe I wanted
other way around.
Crimson Trace second, and then the last one was Let me double check that, but I'm pretty sure.
Well, I'll look at the email before I do it, but
yeah, it was the other Crimson Trace, and the reason is because they stack off of each other as far as content go, including referencing back to the other. So in other words, in the DSP Armory Titan review, it references the Crimson Trace article heavily, as well as the Wheeler install and so on and so forth.
Gotcha.
So yeah, it has to be posted in order.
Okay, good.
So Buck, you still got to wait till whenever Jeff gets motivated. Eventually, you'll get to see that Titan review. You still got to fly out here and shoot it with me, though, Buck.
Yeah, you should do that. But yeah, I mean, I'm literally intentionally delaying a couple days, so it's not just boom, boom, boom one day after another. I'm hoping we get some other stuff published in between them, but I've been too busy with other stuff to wrap up the ones I have in the queue. So we shall see. We got some more stuff coming. I see Mitch is working on a Gerber short stack. Let's see. Oh yeah, we got some other things. Most of those are all done already. All right, that's enough of that. Your peek behind the curtain has ended. All right, what else do we have in the chat here? I'm going to watch it after the chat. I think that was referring to the review video for the 1400, so we appreciate that. Mitch, I didn't see any eggs, but the review video is good. All right, so I gotta share a little secret here. His review videos are usually pretty good, so no surprise there. We have high expectations whenever Toby publishes something.
You're gonna make me weepy.
I know, and I figured I beat you up for falling down on the job and not saying Janik in this video. I could also show some other stuff.
To be fair, Honcho Fit, you would only recognize the Easter eggs if you were an alumni of some of Jaeger's classes. So it's kind of an elitist kind of thing. And so, sorry, man, you would have only noticed it for that. So that said, though, if you go, to any of the events and stuff, I guarantee you'll meet the guy and you'll end up probably being offered to be able to come out to some of his courses and stuff. So it's just a matter of time, my friend.
Yeah, he has said every time I've met him, we went. Interesting. So I saw that the Lucid Optics event that we went to, that Caleb and I went to last year. They had it this past weekend, and Jaeger was there last year, so we got to hang out with him for an extended period of time for a few days. And I've said it before. He may come across douchey online sometimes, but in person, he's really down to earth and seems to really know his stuff. So, yeah, regardless of how the persona he may cultivate online, I think he's a real deal as a trainer, and he cares. That's something that he comes across like maybe he doesn't, but my impression was that he legitimately cares about what he does and making his students better. Jeff supplies the ammo. We may need to talk about that. I can supply a little bit of ammo. I'm just saying, you did get a deal on some 308s, and it is a 308 rifle. So this is Buck we're talking about. Yeah. I can supply some ammo. Not unlimited ammo, unfortunately. Sounds like a deal. Well, of course it does to you. Come on. Yeah. But heck, if he's going to fly all the way out here, yeah, I'll bring some ammo.
Yeah, I've got the range and the rifle.
I had to click that 3 times. Times to get that comment to come up. I think StreamYard didn't want me to show that. All right, we're ahead of schedule, folks. What else does anyone want to talk about? Because we have covered items that have been reviewed lately. We've covered things that are going to be published soon. No, we didn't. We showed stuff in the queue. We didn't talk about it. Do either of you guys have anything coming you want to talk about?
Well, we just talked about
I'll
mine.
tell you. Yep.
Sort of.
I've got a whole variety of things I need to get reviews done on here shortly. I've been too busy with the Battlewagon 3 and working on that up until a few days ago, and then I shifted into all I do is box and print shipping labels because I stumbled into a large, is it cache? What do you say? CACHE? A large lot of Humvee parts that I need to sell.
It's a Janik of Humvee parts.
It's a Janik of Humvee parts. That makes sense. All right. So apparently we should talk about how beautiful the gun snob is. Okay. Well, that was a quick discussion. All right. Ouch. Ouch indeed. What Halloween costume is everyone wearing? Okay, so real question. Is Halloween happening where you are? Like, is it officially canceled or just like it never happens?
Well, you can't officially cancel a holiday that's not regulated by the government yet. Give them some time. They will help you to be better citizens by figuring out a way eventually. But for now, the government can't actually officially cancel them. But yeah, in my area in particular, all the local traditional trick or trunks and events like that are canceled. However, a lot of your businesses that are still have their doors open, which obviously are fewer and further between now, are doing the drive-through thing, and a lot of your bigger corporations like Lowe's Home Improvement is doing a drive-through where they're going to have some employees dress up, and then you can literally drive through in your costume, and they're going to throw candy at you, I guess, really hard, like a reverse parade, I guess, maybe tossing it through your window. So,
wow,
yeah, it's happening, man. It's 2020.
Yeah, I don't know. We where I live, I'm in a neighborhood, but yeah, that is an awesome idea. I have a big creepy looking white van. It's not quite a G-Web's van. His is much creepier looking, but the free candy van, it may happen. It just may happen. All right. Mystic Guns is here? Wait, Mystic Guns never shows up for this one. What did we do to earn the attention of Mystic? This is a big day in the history of This Week at Gear Report. All right, awesome. We love to welcome new people here, even if they're affiliated with the Gun Snob. So, yeah. All right. So typically, we'll get a few people some years and sometimes not. We're in a big neighborhood area, but we're just a little cul-de-sac off to the side, and there aren't many houses back here. So we've had years where we've had literally no one show up, and we've had some that that we've had, like a car will come in or a truck or a van, and a bunch of kids pile out and they hit all the houses and they jump back in and they drive away. And, we'll have 30 or 40. We've had years where we've literally had no one knock on the door. I am very interested to see what happens this year. I heard a lie circulating that the Gun Snob is beautiful. Interesting. Man, the claws are coming out tonight. Who knew this show was going to be so spicy? Yeah. All right. So let's see. What else is happening that I can share with people? This week at Gear Report, I've been spending all my time packaging Humvee parts to ship to people. But tomorrow, the Battlewagon 3 gets a new fuel pump, which it actually ran surprisingly well with a bad fuel pump. So the injection pump was just pulling enough fuel that it ran pretty well until it got real hot, and then it didn't want to pull fuel quite as well. But with a new fuel pump, it ought to run like a banshee. I'm really excited about that, and is getting the new transmission fluid and filter tomorrow, and I'm not sure what else I'm going to be able to do to it. It's going to be featured in a commercial for a big military contractor brand here in a week and a half. So I'm kind of limited on what I can do to it because I have to keep it looking. It's going to be playing the role of an active military vehicle in that commercial, so I can't put Gear Report branding on it or anything just yet. So there's a question. When I am able to put Gear Report branding, what and how should I do that? I would love some feedback. I should go to Patreon and post a question for our patrons on, what should I do for branding? But I'll throw it out there for you guys as well. I did some Gear-Report.com, just simple. I'm not even sure if it was stencil font. Maybe it was. Just vinyl letters in a couple places on the first Battlewagon. On the second one, I don't think I ever did any, which was a missed opportunity probably. And I'm thinking after this commercial, I can't do it before, but after the commercial, I need to put some sort of branding on. So if anyone has any ideas, definitely let me know. Always looking for good ideas. I mean, I have ideas, but I'm looking for good ideas.
And you're asking us for good ideas?
Toby, you have any?
He already claimed he wasn't very smart, so.
A lot of TP houses and trees this year, I suppose. I mean, if you're not going to be able to keep, you have to be able to keep all the kids inside, right? They're going to get out and do something. If we don't give them something productive to do, who knows what kind of trouble they're going to get into. You should put my pick blown up huge on the hood. I should. Will I? We'll have to see, but I should. I definitely agree with you there, Snub. All right. I think, so I was asking Toby, do you have anything on the Mining Ridge side coming up? Any classes, any other stuff?
So Buck's here, so I got to be careful how I answer this. So yeah, obviously for the Gear Report perspective, you've got the DSP-10, the DSP Armory, Titan.
No, we already
DSP
talked about Gear Report. I'm saying your channel, your other stuff, your gun shop, your training.
I'm getting there. I'm getting there. I'm just trying to plug you again there. I'm trying to plug Gear Report since I'm on your show. I don't want to be douchey and just take over and do my show or whatever. But, but yeah, so I've got those queued up, and those will drop as soon as you get them around to dropping. And then on my channel, and the MiningRidgeArmory.com, Buck keeps calling me out, and so does JMA. So I haven't done a show, or I haven't done any kind of webinars or anything in probably 3 or 4 weeks, something like that. So yes, I am definitely going to be producing some additional webinar and quite a few types of training content. I'm actually contemplating, so across the next couple of months between now and December through the holidays, I've got a lot of vacation time to burn at work and things like that, and I've got some content in mind. So I'm going to start actually dropping those and doing some more webinars. So Buck, tell everybody, stay tuned, keep an eye on my channel, like, subscribe, do the bell thing so that you'll see whenever I actually do schedule those for events. Another couple things I got going on is, like I'd mentioned, the Palmetto State Armory PX9 that I bought with my own money, as opposed to it coming through the Gear Report channel. I may actually do a few odd one-off reviews that are related to training for things that I've bought that aren't related to Gear Report. So for example, the PX9 might be a good example where, if I'm doing like a training thing for how to use the, fake ammunition or something like that, or dummy ammunition or something that I bought, do a review of the ammunition and then do a review of the firearm and do training content at the same time. So I'm gonna try to do a few videos like that where I'm doing series of content on Mining Ridge Armory that are centered around the training. But again, still, if anything's reviewed that came through Gear Report, it goes through Gear Report. Anything Mining Ridge Armory is Mining Ridge Armory. So yeah, I've got definitely some things in the pipeline. Buck keeps calling me out, and thanks to him for doing it. He keeps challenging me, and I appreciate that. Keep me honest. And believe it or not, the wife is doing the same thing. So the wife is like, why are you not putting out content? Why are you not doing things for Mining Ridge Armory? What's going on? And so she's actually been calling me out quite a bit here lately too. And so I need to get motivated. Life has just kind of smacked me in the face over the past month or so. So yes, long story. Yes, I am going to be producing content soon.
Okay. So we'll just have to wait and see what you decide to release for us.
Yeah.
Good question, Gun Snob. Is it worth it to me? So, short answer is SHOT Show. Every year, the value proposition for SHOT Show has been a little bit different for me based on professionally what I was doing. What I was doing, marketing stuff full time, and Gear Report on the side. Then it was how I made contacts in the firearms industry. Now that I've been a number of years and have made a bunch of contacts, and I'm not personally writing a lot of gun content anymore, my focus has changed, and I'm not doing the marketing stuff anymore. I am full-time on Gear Report. For me, it's more about taking the team and exposing some new people to SHOT Show in the industry. And for that, it's worthwhile as long as we can actually meet people and do all that stuff. I'm very interested. Mitch said that we were talking about it before the show went live. And oh my goodness, that could definitely sway me against... What in the world? It's convinced him. I'm sure that scared him out of going. Possibly. He's already exposed himself. He wants to expose others as well. I'm not even sure what they're talking about now. People exposing themselves? I'm not even sure which person we were talking about, or he was talking about. Anyhow, let me go here to... I'm not so sure about that. I'm pretty certain I haven't exposed myself at SHOT Show. I mean, who knows? There was that one night that TJ tricked me into drinking too much. That bastard. I could have then and not known about it. No, that's not the one I wanted. I got the wrong tab. That's the floor plan at SHOT Show. It won't let me zoom out to this one. Has some traffic flow stuff. So apparently what we're seeing here is they have made... See what? Let me zoom. Ooh, it did let me zoom too much even. So it looks like they've made aisles one way. Like you can only go south on this one and north on that one and south on this one. And I'm telling you, if you have ever walked the SHOT Show floor with me, you know that I give two shits about any of their rules. I go where I want to. So it's going to make it really interesting if they actually have people actively policing and trying to tell people where to go. The big arrows you see down here about, coming in on this side, going out on that side, those shouldn't be a big deal. Those are big entrances, and there tends to be a flow, a pattern where, most people go in these doors and go out in these other doors anyway. That won't be a big deal. But if they really think that they're going to pull off one-way aisles at SHOT Show, like if I've got a meeting at one end of the aisle and I've got to get to the other end for the next meeting, I'm going to go out and around and across. I don't know. That probably ain't going to happen. What do you think, Toby?
Yeah, I do think they'll have somebody enforcing. I really do, because you have to understand that you've got a huge political element there with regards to the firearm industry and the media is constantly watching. This year there's been that whole super spreader that's been a real big political statement, regardless of what's going on. You're going to have international travelers, significant amounts of international travelers, unless there's a continued ban or a continued, where they've shut all that down coming into February or whatever. So I would anticipate they are actually going to be, enforcing it politely, but you're going to have people standing at intervals going, like directing traffic, like the people directing planes or something. And they probably are going to, tell you, don't do that. So.
Do you think it'll actually work?
Oh, no. Well, so what's your definition of work, right? What's your definition of work? So if there's a success rate of 99.5% and the other 0.5% are asshats and start getting into verbal arguments, and then you end up having to get security involved and having people removed. I mean, theoretically, that is statistically a success.
Yeah.
If it just so happens that
I'm an asshat
was the guy who owned Sig Sauer, well, yeah. I mean, that's self-evident. But like if the asshat happens to be the guy that owns Sig Sauer, that might be impactful to them in subsequent years afterwards. So
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, to the question, the more they do to make getting around SHOT Show difficult, the more likely I am to say, you know what, I don't even want to deal with it because I know I'm just going to be pissed off the whole time, and I stay fairly pissed off to begin with. So if they throw extra layers of bureaucratic nonsense on, I'm going to be more pissed off more often, and it's going to make me miserable and everyone who's with me miserable. And for their sake, I might just say, you know, y'all go and have fun. TJ can run things without me. I'll be good. So the really interesting thing is, I suspect that SHOT is going to lose a fair amount of people who would normally attend because they're scared, because they're old, because their state has a rule that if they leave, they have to quarantine when they come back or something. I mean, there will be a lot of people, I think, that don't go. Yet they've just expanded across the street to Caesars. And if you look at the floor plan for that, the new product center, there are a lot of booths that they're going to have there. A lot. I mean, it looks like the dungeon. They're packed in that tight.
right, but I think that the reason they expanded was not because they're adding that many vendors. I think it's because of the restrictions on social distancing. I think is why they're probably doing that, and that's just a guesstimation. I haven't looked at the numbers yet and haven't looked at all
Well,
the stuff yet. But Snob's
that
right.
may be
That
why
does
they
mean there's going to be less
continue.
people there.
They
That does
signed
mean
the
there's going to be less people
agreement for
there.
this expansion a few years ago.
Oh, did they? Okay.
Yeah.
So
So in theory,
yeah, Snob's making a good point though. That does mean you're going to be able to make more impactful and organic relationships and connections because you're going to have less noise, less people. I suppose is probably a good way to put it. And so, yeah, that the flip side of that though is there are going to be less vendors. A couple of the vendors I've spoken to across this year were already on the fence about the feel of this past one that happened in 2020. They were already on the fence because they said things were changing and that the feel and the hierarchy and the rules and everything were getting a little weird. And now this, I mean, who knows? You may lose vendors as well. So
yeah. I mean, I was talking to a brand a couple weeks ago, um, the owner of a brand, and he said, you know what? He used to have 8 spots. So, like, if you look at, I still have that screen up, right? Yeah. So if you look at this floor plan, you see some of these booths are really big. Some of them are smaller. If you take the smaller ones and count out 8 of those, it'd be like the size of one of these bigger booths. And this brand had a pretty large, they took up 8 of the normal size booths. And then last year he did 6. And he's talking about this year he's going to do 4. He may cut it down to 2. And he's like, yeah, I kind of have to be there, but I am tired of giving them so much money. And this year he said, they've already said, whether you show up or not, they're going forward. So, if you don't show up, you're not getting your money back.
yeah, agreed. I got the same thing from a different vendor too, and they were only, I guess, a 2-booth vendor, but something similar. And I mean, you got to think about logistics too, right? So when I was talking to this ice vendor, when you're talking about the logistics, we don't. Your average Joe doesn't think about things like this. I think about it because A, I've worked in some pretty heavy project management things where you had to think about it, and B, I've done work as an electrician in states that were and were not union and so on and so forth. But let's just say, for example, that your booth you're going to have 4 screens set up with one computer, okay, and then the splitting equipment, the AV splitting equipment. Okay, so you've got to pay to ship that out there. Then once it gets there, it goes from a standard shipping rule to union rules. So then union has to unload it. There's the money you have to pay to SHOT Show. There's the licensing and all that kind of junk you got to pay. Then you have to pay the fees and services to the union there locally to move that equipment into place and set it up, or whatever, unless you have a locally hired crew that comes in that was also union to set it up and do so. Then you've got to break it down, have the union guys take it back out to your trailer or truck or whatever, then haul it back home. So, mathematically speaking, let's say you bought 4 $1,000 65-inch, pretty decent quality LCD screens and a $300 laptop to run that display and a splitter. You just throw it in the trash. Seriously, that $4,300 worth of screens, literally, it is cheaper to throw it in the trash and go home and get on the plane than it is to go through the logistics of getting it back home. So, and then you expand that out to boxes and boxes of swag that weighs 150 pounds, shipping that in, then back out if you don't give it out, particularly for a year like this where there's not going to be necessarily as many attendees and the swag may not get handed out, right? So you're gambling on the purchase up ahead of time. Then you're gambling on paying a union guy to carry it in, union guy to carry it out, ship it home, blah, blah, blah. I know, Jeff, how mad you get just for paying like $80 to have to ship a package from there to home. You'd lose your mind. Well, imagine if, you put yourself in their shoes. So yeah, I already heard quite a few bitching about the overhead and costs that was involved with it. And they were saying they wish they'd move it to Florida or some other state, yada, yada, yada. And then now this has happened. So I think it's going to be a little weird.
Yeah. I saw someone in a discussion. I posted something on the SHOT Show on their official. They posted something about, it's so critical for brands to be at SHOT Show. And I was like, yeah, I'm not so sure it's worthwhile to go anymore. And some guy hopped on there talking about he's part of the Teamsters in Las Vegas, and they're all going broke because no one is coming. And I'm like, yeah, you're sucking up so much money from everyone that they're already looking for ways to not be there and not have to deal with you. It's interesting. He says unions are the devil. They started out as something so helpful. Historically, unions were really there to do for a noble cause.
So it has been my historical note that anytime you inflict help upon someone, it never ends well in the long run. It starts out all good intention, but inflicting help on people always ends badly.
Yeah, absolutely. Here we go. That link has the maps on it with the names of the vendors. So it does. And I don't think I logged in for anything that I'm doing here. You can go to shotshow.org and get access to the floor plan and the vendor list and all that stuff because I already have my ticket credentials, whatever they're calling them. I'm already registered, but I didn't log in. So as far as the website knows, I'm just someone surfing
I put the link out there in the chat to the actual floor plan so people can look at it if they want.
What was that? Ask if I could put it in there?
No, I did it.
You did. Okay, good.
Yeah, Buck mentioned it, and I just
put
it out there so we could check it out.
I don't see it, and I thought that they had a functional restriction that unless you're a moderator or something, I should make you a moderator, but I hadn't thought to do that yet. So let me go find that link, not that one, this one, and I will post that out there because you aren't a mod, he says. There we go. And I believe he was, a mod. I was going to say, if he was talking about Felicia Rashad's husband, then that would be true also. He is not a mod, Rashad, either. But, okay, so anyhow. Yeah, that link is out there. Maybe it'll work, maybe it won't, because it's not like a home page. You start on, let's see. Nope, that one doesn't look right either. I'm trying to find the link. I'm just going to drop the shotshow.org link out there as well. Boom, that's been dropped in the chat. Okay. So, to the comments about the cost of SHOT Show, I'd be interested to hear from folks. Gun Snob, I know we saw him last year. That may have been his first year going. I don't remember. Mitch will be going for his first time. Toby, you went once or twice?
Just once.
Just once? It felt like more than once.
God, that felt like a lifetime. Jesus.
It was yes, it was a lifetime.
I still have scars, mental and emotional scars from Circus Circus. I'm just saying.
Yep, yep. And any rational person would. So I'm curious, from a cost effectiveness standpoint, how well, what kind of return do you guys see on going to SHOT?
So I had a pretty darn good return. I'm not going to lie. Well, it's according to what your definition of return is, right? So I hate to pontificate, right? But it's according to what your definition of success is. So you touched on it with your definition of success was making marketing contacts for the particular company you were working with at that time. My definition of success for that particular event was to come back with enough products to facilitate and make it financially viable, and or make enough business contacts to make it financially viable to continue to do the review portion of the Mining Ridge Armory business versus just the training and or FFL connections portions of the FFL business. In addition, is to make the contacts to get some decent deals on bulk purchasings of firearms, ammunition, that kind of thing for the FFL side of the house. So for me, in particular, the year that I went, I was able to. It was definitely, absolutely worth my time and money for the event. Oddly enough, there's a bunch of weird stories of which parts of the event turned out to be more economically viable than the ones that I expected to. It's never what you expect. It's always something else. That said, though, like Mitch, for example, his scenario may be that, hey, since it's the first year he's ever going, to actually get out there, get the feel, get started, learn what he, like I started with the Audi 88 range day. That was the first event I went to start making those connections. So you got to start somewhere if you're wanting to get, shake it out and get into the business. So for him, that might be just a benefit. I mean, he may not get 5-10 products, 5-10 reviews, but he makes those contacts. He starts learning what he's doing. This being a good year with cheap airline tickets, cheaper hotel tickets because nobody's going, better selection of Airbnb, so on and so forth, smaller crowds of people to have to deal with and be able to make more intimate connections. You might get that kind of benefit from it. So that's a
Yeah,
lot of words.
so yeah, I've told people for a while that the way I look at a new person going to SHOT Show, especially in the firearms space, is if you go with my budgeting method and aggressively trying to not spend money, then you can go to SHOT Show for the cost of buying a basic gun. You're in for about 500, 550 something, maybe. You can do SHOT Show for that. So it's like if you go and you talk to if you talk to the right brands and you get a review gun sent to you, you've bought that gun and got a free trip to Vegas to do all kind of exclusive things that most people don't get to do. And I think
or you could spend the total of maybe 1.5 guns and stay somewhere besides Circus, eat somewhere besides free cheese in your pocket that's been there for a couple of days and dollar cheeseburgers at McDonald's. You could spend 1.5 guns and try to get maybe 2 guns to review, and still have a good experience. Just a thought.
We did backpack pizza last year, or this year. I guess it was this year. We did backpack pizza. So, cooked the pizza. What we didn't eat that night, it went in a Ziploc bag in TJ's backpack, and eventually we ate it. I spent less than $1,000 on the whole trip and didn't try to be tight at all. All right, good to know. But when you're looking at it as like a business expense of how much do you spend and what is your ROI, if you're a gun person and you get one gun that basically is the value of what you spent to go, then SHOT Show's a free trip that came with that gun.
Well, plus, and for you and for me, it's a tax deduction. I don't know about for Mitch, but for me, pretty much everything about it is a tax deduction.
Yeah. Yeah, and Mitch could call it an uncompensated business expense. Yeah. So you can find creative ways to write that stuff off anyway. But getting to know people in the industry is important. And that's one of my concerns for the rules that they're going to put in place. If they make it, too hard to have personal interaction, like if it's just one-way aisles and one-way entrances and exits to the building or to the main exhibit halls, then it won't be too bad. But I'd heard some rumors of all products behind glass. You can't touch them, limited numbers of people in booth, you can't get close to people. If that's the case, then I don't know. Is it going to be worth, if you're going to make those personal connections, is it even going to be worth it? Yep. Then you're going with the wrong crew.
He said he was wanting to learn, and he was wanting to learn like content creation and stuff. I was like, well, you gonna
So,
well, maybe not, because Trey will be there. I mean, you got Trey there, and you got, the Snob's going to be there, and all the people who actually know what they're doing. So, Clover.
Mhm.
I mean,
well,
then,
and something
there's,
you
there's
missed.
Jeff. So,
You went the last year that I was really cracking the whip and trying to like go the whole time. This past year, I was like, screw it, we're just walking.
Yeah, and I'll tell
And it
you,
was so
I
much
learned
more
that
relaxing.
it is, and it's better. The story I touched on there about the things that you get that you wouldn't think you were going to get. My most impactful, useful, fulfilling, contacts, reviews, stuff, the DSP Armory. That contact literally, that was at the end of the day, like the last day or something. I was toast. My brain was gone. I didn't give two flips about anything whatsoever, anywhere. All I was worried about was, where could I go lay down and take my shoes off? And Pickle went to a booth, wanted to go to a specific booth over in the far, reaches of the building. And so I walked with him. And while he was over there talking to those people trying to make a business contact, I literally, and I'm not joking, I walked over to them and I said, I literally said, so who are you? Why do I care? And what have you got? Who are you? Why do I care? And I was like, my friend's over here talking to them. So, what the heck? And here I am, I've done 2 rifle reviews for them. I consider them, I consider some really good people. I really enjoy talking to them, really enjoy dealing with them and doing business with them. I'd say that Ted and Andrew are top-notch guys. So, but that
And
was my point of that was that it was a chill interaction as opposed to being rushed by the by pounding sand, instead.
yeah, yep. And you made an impression with them, because then this January at SHOT Show, someone pulled me aside early in the show and said, you hadn't told Toby yet, have you? It's like, what are you talking about? I hadn't told Toby. He's like, that if you go by DSP Armory, they've got him on a big screen TV, like looped over, and it's like all Toby all the time. It's the Toby channel. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. And we went and looked at it. I was like, I'll be damned. It is. He'll know I'm not telling him. And then a few minutes later, I checked like Instagram or something, and you had already said something about it. I was like, oh, he knows. He knows.
Oh yeah, they sent me.
His head's never going to through the door again.
Yeah, they sent me a picture. Come on now, they're my guys. They do put out a good product, but they're my guys beyond that. I mean, they're just fun to talk to. They're good bunch of guys. So yeah, they sent me a picture and asked my permission.
And Snob,
so
yes, Snob has brought up a good point that we talk about before SHOT every year, that I wonder how much more complicated it's going to be by their one-way aisles, that you really do need to plan. Like if you have meetings you have to go to, if you have places you have to be at a certain time, you need to plan them out geographically. Pick a sector to work in. I've had years where I tried to, I had like, I think it was the year Toby went, that I had a horrendous calendar with every meeting mapped out and scheduled by region so that I could make a path all the way around and never backtrack and never cross and have to run places. And it was so much work. So that's why last year we just said, screw it. And TJ and I just kind of wandered around pretty much the whole week. We had just a couple meetings scheduled, and really just wandered around looking for cool stuff, and it was so much better. Yeah. But we may actually make some content this year. We haven't been doing that. We were just making contacts to do content later. I think this year, especially if it's a little less crowded, maybe we'll do something, put out a video every day or something. Just who knows? Yep. All right. We have doubled our time. We're supposed to do a half hour. We drug this one out to be a full hour. So with that, why don't we get rid of that? Anyone want to say anything before we go? Say your goodbyes. You've already plugged your stuff.
Bye.
Yeah. MineRidgeArmory.com. Keep an eye on Gear Report for the reviews dropping the next couple of weeks. We thank you for your support. Keep showing up every week, and we'll keep bringing you some kind of content. Who knows?
Well, that's a true statement. It is content. Is it good content? Is it interesting content? Who knows? You have to show up and see. It varies from week to week. Yep. Good show, guys. He said, did you see that? Oh, you got low standards, Snob, but thank you. We appreciate it. And with that, we'll see you.